What's going on, guys? So this is a follow-up video to one of the previous ones I did on criticism. So in my last video I was talking more about like sincere criticism that people have about your work and kind of things to consider about that, why you should like be thriving and try to get that in the first place, and reasons why you shouldn't really be discouraged in the first place if they're not saying the happiest things about it. And I will put a link in the put like a little box right here or something right there so you can click on it when I get back around to it. But and don't be too confused if it's not there right away, because it probably will take me a little bit to get it up there. But aside from all that jazz, this video I want to talk specifically about the other end of the coin. And the other end of the coin would be positive things to say. No, we're talking about like the trolley comments. We're talking about stuff like, well, you're going through your comment sections on a video you made or something like that, and then it says like, "You mom gay," or something weird like that. I mean, that's obviously just somebody being ridiculous, being a little rascal. But if someone's saying something like, like, geez, I remember before on my YouTube video, I didn't really have a very active channel, so I just posted once in a long, long while, and one person said, "Just give it up, bro. This channel's dead." And I'm thinking in my head, like, hell, it never even started. Like, 49 subscribers is shit, Like, I'm not really worried about that. And plus, I wasn't actively keeping it up, so how much could I really care about that, right? So, here's the best way I can explain it. There's some guys I've been watching for a long time. They talk a lot about board games and stuff. I think they call themselves the Board Game Geeks. And I tried to look up their channel before getting on here, but I couldn't exactly find it because the content seems to be under the guy's main page. He goes by the name of Rhyme, which is kind of an interesting name, like R-Y-M or something, or Rim. I think his name's Rim. But they talk about an interesting concept that if you're playing a board game and somebody gets excluded in such a way, like, let's say they know they're going to lose, and they're still forced to drag out the remaining of the game. Well, at a point, that game might not be fun for that person to play by its conventional rules anymore. So, in these situations, what they might do is create their own set of rules for how to play and what's fun for them. And this is like a design tip for when you're creating something like a game. You have to keep in consideration that if you're involving multiple people, you don't want to do like rounds of elimination that are going to end up stringing people along where they can't leave. I mean, if they die, they die, but you want to usually make it so everyone has full engagement until the end. Because this is going to be one of the common problems you have if somebody's ousted early on. And I remember they gave an example where in some elimination game somebody gets out in like the first 10 minutes, and then they play for 3 more hours, and the game's structured in such a way where there's no good way for that person to leave, or it's just they're out of the game. That's the end. Their friends are playing, well, they're just off in the corner jerking off or something, right? So when designing games, I know at least that it's very important not to allow these situations to happen. So why am I talking about that? It's not so much different when someone's watching your video and they say something just off the wall. It might not even sound off the wall. It might be like, something you're like, whoa, way to hit me in the feels, brah. I mean, maybe not. But, it's hateful comments. People talk shit all day. So, I mean, that's kind of what it is. And I'm not trying to just say, just get over it. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. I mean, for all it matters, it's just a pile of turds anyways. But realistically speaking, and more objectively speaking, because they're not really turds, there's a reason why they're doing this. And that reason is that they're bored by the conventional rules of either that video, or it could just be something in their life at that time. So if they don't really feel engaged with the video and you literally bore them to death, they're going to just say something random, and it might not be the most, or it might be very hateful, because people get charged. If you clickbait them, they're going to be really charged. I never got down that path really before, but I know that people get pissed off, unless it's a really, really good clickbait, I guess. But another thing is just like, listen, I remember I summarized this in a different video I made before, but sometimes people's lives are just so miserable they have no choice but to legitimately share that with other people because they don't know, right? And I remember talking about this in an earlier video also, how what you fill your mind up with is what you become. So the reason why I choose to listen to audiobooks all the time is because I want to constantly have a new flow of information to keep me, I don't know, I guess you could say in a way it keeps you humble, but I don't want to say more importantly, because that's very important by itself. But what it does is provide you from being able to avoid a lot of that bullshit talk, you know. The only reason people make up stuff and talk out of their assholes is because they don't really know, but they wish they did. Like, they wish they were the expert on something, but they're too lazy to actually go and, or they just didn't think about, you know, studying certain things. They just want to talk. And that's how a lot of chronicle liars are, or chronological. What's chronological? They fucking lie in order. Chronic liars, pathological liars. There we go. I've actually met a couple people like that before, and it's pretty wild because they literally confabulate their entire world, just take cues off of, you know, external cues off of what's going on, and just kind of play off of that to the extreme, and end up coming up with their stories. And there's a lot of theories on why that might be. In some extreme cases where they have to actually be like medicated or put into a facility, I think there's something detrimentally, or there's something terribly wrong with their prefrontal cortex, I believe it is. Yeah, that would make sense for decision making and so forth. But we're assuming that our audience aren't just like batshit crazy because they have a head injury, right? We're just, you got your everyday person, and they just say, hey, you fucking suck, or whatever. I mean, okay, cool, I suck, whatever, you know? And I can only take it so seriously, too, because honestly, it doesn't matter, like, what they say. If it's not really constructive, then it doesn't really matter. Like, okay, cool, I suck, what am I getting from that, you know? It's not really something that adds any kind of value, so right away you have to kind of discredit those comments because they're essentially valueless. Like, think of, okay, this is what I meant to say a second ago. Think about a homeless guy on the street, right? And I know I said this in a previous video, but this is a long, long time ago. So, if you're walking with your friends and he overhears a conversation about how you're keeping your finances together or paying your mortgage late or something like that, if he bursts out and like tries to throw out like a quick jab at you or something, saying like, oh, you can't pay your bills or something, I mean, you're gonna look at that guy and be like, what the fuck? I mean, are you really gonna be offended? Probably not, because his ability to criticize you at that moment on that topic especially is non-existent. You know, people could argue that everyone has a right to an opinion, but my argument is that no, you've got to earn your right to have an opinion, because you have to, or I should say you should have, you have to have the authority to have a specific opinion, because, oh crap, I gotta park here real quick. Hold on 1 second. Alright, so enough of that crap. I'm just gonna say it, you're not welcome to your own opinion. You have to literally be I don't want to say fucking certified, but you. Not everyone can just have an opinion, and it's not going to be a valid one. Why do I say that? It's because sure, I can say whatever the fuck I want, but if I don't understand the concept or if I don't understand the topic I'm talking about, then that it has such an insignificant value. It doesn't matter what my thoughts are on it. You know what I mean? Like, how could I possibly talk about like NASA and their space program, for example? I don't know shit about NASA. If I hear something on the news about, I don't know, fucking something random like what they're trying to do or something blowing up, like, okay, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, but I literally don't have any opinion about that matter because I would say that you're not allowed to. I mean, those aren't the words I'm trying to look for. I don't mean fucking not allowed. I don't know, the sense of it has zero value. So it's just like, sure, have your opinion, fuck. It's just like, fuck you though. Whatever, have your opinion. Go eat some turds over in the corner. Nobody's listening. Because it has such small amount of value. Okay, it's like I go to the market and I try to pay in like stones or something, right? It's just like they're going to look at you like, what the fuck are you doing? It's not, there's no purpose for it. There's nothing to take from it. What are you going to do with turds that people just hand you? You know what I mean? So if they don't have the authority, like I remember, God, I'm really rambling on this one. I fucked this up, but I'm not gonna restart because that's just the rule. So fuck it. I'll just free thought here for a moment. I remember back in the day, something that changed the way that I look at a lot of situations is whatever it is that you're seeking, find the person with those qualities or skills. You know, don't seek advice from people who fall outside of the domain of what you want. So, if you are out of shape and you are trying to get into shape, you don't ask somebody who's out of shape for help. That's just the bottom line. If you're having problems with finances and you don't know what to do to get out of debt, you don't talk to people like my father, who was terrible at money. Because people will have opinions, but that doesn't mean that those opinions bear any ground. And okay, so the argument is it's not that people aren't allowed to have opinions, but people, God, I keep losing when I try to say it. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. Essentially, people shouldn't be entitled to certain opinions. That's the bottom line. Like, you need to prove that you have any form of credit in that domain that you're speaking of before you have any say. I mean, at least on the official notes, right? But okay, so I need to turn this off. And whatever, fuck it. So I'll put my previous video up there right now, and hopefully I didn't rant too much for you. But oh, quick update, right? So these are supposed to be update videos too. So I spent all last night working on the motivational video, and geez, I was in Lexington for the last couple days, and I wasn't really able to get around to it before. So it's just like the blog is a little bit behind, but whatever. I've still been actively working every day, if not reading, but making sure that I work towards my goals. So I still want to get that video done and an introduction video still by the end of this month. And that's the end of it. So, alright guys, take care.